Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 134. I'm joined this evening by my co-host, Morgan Hartfeld. Good evening, Morgan. How are you?
Hey, Matt. Yep, doing really good today, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. It's been quite the week, actually. I'll be honest. There's a lot of sickness going around, and I've caught a little bit of it, and I've heard that you haven't been too well either.
Lemsip strong, my brother. Lemsip strong.
Really, Lemsip for the win. What's going on? It's really.
No, man. I think it's just all of us weak souls out there. We just need to tough it out, sort of nut up a wee bit, and just get on with it. But it's I agree. I've been pretty under the weather, but we're coming out the other side. Lemsip will get us there.
I hope so. I mean, it's been a little bit cold in Wellington this week, but dry-ish. Actually got out for a round last night at
night golf.
Night golf, yeah, playing in the Disruption sort of series that they do. Normally, they have a look at the forecast and then nominate an evening each week to go and play some glow golf. And this week, it was Wednesday. Yes, managed to shake off the nickname of Beaver that was given to me by by some of the card last night. So managed to shake off that because I went actually from shooting. So last week, you'll remember I talked about the glow golf that we played.
Yep.
And I managed to shoot +4 last week. This week came in at 5 under par. So
there you go. What a turnaround!
What is going on?
What a turnaround!
Probably more luck than judgment, but I'll take.
Hey, look, if you ask Tom Strawbridge in the chat there, though, Tommy, I know you're there. I can see you chatting away. Tell him there's more. There's some people out there with the nickname Beaver, which you shouldn't be embarrassed of. Great nickname, great players, previous All Black. I'll let him tell the rest.
Well, I'm actually in this case glad to be rid of it, at least temporarily. And it was good fun. Yeah, went out with some of the masters in Wellington, Brett, Simon, Gary, and Brady actually joined us for a round as well. Yeah, and so 5 under was actually tied for the lead out of everybody who played. Managed to tie with Andy Davey, who normally takes it out by hundreds of strokes. Actually managed to tie with him this week, so I'm actually really pleased.
Nice one.
Yeah. I have to say, and also managed to get out at the weekend. I tried to play a round of Hardcore Park, 4 hands only.
Okay, I was about to say, what was the trying part? I get it now. 4 hands only. Yeah.
Outside of everything outside the circle was 4 hands only. Yeah. And that was good. Managed to get around most of it relatively unscathed. So that's a really good thing to do if you're trying to develop a forehand, though. I mean, if you go and do even just 2 or 3 rounds, forehand only at your local course, I think within a week you'll realize how much your forehand has come along. And same for the backhand if you're more of a forehand player, just really pushing yourself to throw those shots that you wouldn't usually throw. Highly recommend it. It's really interesting, actually, about practice rounds, right? Because lots of people go out and they play practice rounds. You might throw 2 or 3 off the tee or whatever. Is there a way that you go about your practice round? Or do you just sort of go out and whatever?
No, I just go out, play. We have quite the competitive scene here amongst the players. It's not as social as I'd like it to be some of the time. You start off social and then a little bit of smack talking, and then you're about 6-7 holes in and you're like, damn, I'm in a battle here again. And, there's some people you can't let up. You can't let off the gas. So
the reason I say is because I was listening to I think it was a practice round for Worlds. The Jomez does their practice round. And Nate Sexton was talking about the way in which he practices, where he'll throw 4 shots off the tee and take the second best one.
Right. Okay.
Plays 4 shots from each position and takes the second best shot out of all of them. To allow for the fact that
that must be nice for someone who's got enough discs. Because if I threw 4 discs off the field, I'm coming home at least 3 disc light.
But doesn't that also make you throw discs that aren't your first choice to kind of test and keep those discs that are first choice on it?
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't know. I think it's. I think I really like that actually. Next time I manage to get out for a practice round where I've got time. That's the other thing, right? Throwing 4 discs off on every position.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
really,
for sure.
really,
I mean, a lot of the time, especially this time of year, we're still sort of fighting against the light, and if you're out there after work, you're really just trying to knock a round out.
Absolutely right.
I think just going back to your question, like when I'm out there practicing every round that I'm doing, and quite often I'll do multiple rounds of the same course every week, and just trying to force myself to throw a different shot off the tee each round. And obviously that comes down to the way the wind's traveling as well. Some shots just aren't going to work with some directional winds that we get off of Lake Wakatipu, but forcing yourself to change that shot up each time you go around.
Excellent. Well, anyway, we've got a great show today. We're going to go through hot scores first up, and then we've got our guest tonight, Ryan Cambridge. Really excited to talk to Ryan. We've had him on the show before, but it's been some time, so it'll be fantastic to check in with Ryan. He's a top 10 player in New Zealand. I think we can say that fairly safely. He's ranked currently 10th in the country. So and went to Worlds recently, and we'll hear all about that. He did very well. So we've got
Ryan's one of those players, guys, that came. I don't want to say came out of nowhere, because I've been playing in the South for a long time, and obviously sort of seen when Ryan came onto the scene. But I feel like I specifically remember a time going, wow, when did this guy sort of turn and change into the player that he is now? And I feel like when I first witnessed it was Paradise a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Can't remember off the top of my head where he placed, but I remember watching and just going, wow, this is incredible. There's just been this massive jump in his game. So I'm also looking really forward to talking to him about what he's been up to across recent times and, last couple of years.
I've never competed against him in terms of like it being me, I'm in the running with him for a tournament or anything like that, because I've been miles away or in a different division. But last year I did go to Wanaka for the day as part of a little roadie, and we played Lismore, Ely, and Confluence all in the same day with Dom.
Yep.
And what I can remember from those 3 days is it was just like if I was trying to catch up to him, it was just relentless birdies, and I was like, I can't catch a break here. Like even if I throw a good shot, he's never more than a few than a little bit behind, and then just any opportunity to where it would look like any opportunity where I was kind of like
to gain
playing well, bang, it would come in. So anyway, we'll talk to him in a bit because
cool.
Also, we're going to be doing our picks for the Final Meltdown, which is this weekend in Dunedin. It's the last tournament in the Black Ice Series being held down south, and it's looking like a certain someone's going to win it.
I think it's going to be a lockout.
I think it will be. We'll go through the odds a little bit later on, but who do you think is going to take it out? Actually, a better discussion in terms of picking a winner is going to come in the MA1 and FA1 divisions, which are incredibly close. So we'll preview those shortly. Anyway, hot scores to start with. Morgan, take us through the South.
Yeah, I'm going to start off in the South. I'm also just going to start by saying what's up to everybody in the chat. I believe there's 19, 20 odd people there. So say what's up. Tell us what you're feeling, what you're thinking. And I'm going to start off down in Invercargill for our hot scores. And not Levi Stout, but Ethan Stout with a 42 minus
Levi's
10.
caddy, isn't he?
Shush. Minus 10 Invercargill for Ethan Stout at the Queen's Park Reserve. Heading on over to Dunedin at Brockville, we've got Broad Troy with a minus 8. Sorry, guys, I don't have all your names. Didn't quite get around to that today, but we're going to shoot over to Chingford with Calvin Cummings, minus 8. Shooting on over to the Queenstown Gardens with this guy right here with a minus 13. Tucker Beach, I got a minus 1, which is also the UDisc hot score of the week. So double for me, but I believe there was a few better scores than that this week. Maybe record them next time. We're going to shoot into Jardine Park because Matt didn't tell me not to. We've got Brendan Pete with a minus 2. Then we're going to shoot all the way up to Christchurch and Jelly Park with Ashton Clark with a negative 12. Brooker, we've got T-Storm Cup with a plus 1. And then Queen's Park to round off Christchurch, we've got Kelly Thompson with a minus 8. We've got 2 more to go. We're going to shoot up to Taylor River at Blenheim. We've got the Wiki Kiwi with a +2. And then I'm going to finish off the south in Nelson at Branford Park. And we've got Munter, 1405 with a -11, Matt. Huge score. Shot Munter. Heading on up to the north with Mr. Matty Drake.
Starting in Berrenpore in the hills, Simon Fogarty, Chris Sharp and Nick Panu are struggling to decide who's best, tying as they did on 6 under par. Over at Hikoikoi, Andy Davey hits 5 under par for the hot round this week. Up at Harcourt Park, Jimmy Hislop hits +3, and Johnny Wake hits 11 under par on a 9-hole course at Linklater. In the mighty Manawa 2, so congratulations to him. Over to Spa Park Red, Callum Petman hits 4 under par, and 4 under par is also enough for Amy Whitmore to take out the hot score for the week.
Shot, Amy.
Up to McLaren's, and it's John O.C. and Hayden Keat who tie up at 5 under par, and Christian Geese and Owen Mandisotsa also tied up at 7 under par in the City of Sales. So congratulations to everybody there who got themselves on the hot score list. A man who is not shy of getting himself onto the hot scores is our guest tonight. And so I'd like to welcome at this time and say good evening to Ryan Cambridge. Good evening, Ryan.
G'day, how's it going?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very good. You're fresh off the blood sacrifice at the Confluence win last week. But I actually want to start today's conversation by rewinding a couple of months, because it is a couple of months now, isn't it? July that you went over to the States?
June.
Okay.
Even further.
Take us through your journey. What happened when you went to America? What tournaments did you play in? Just remind everybody, because it's been some time. What tournaments did you play in? How did you go? And
Yeah, sweet as. So I only played 2 tournaments while I was over there, which were the US AMs and the World AMs.
Mm-hmm.
So
just those little tournaments.
Yeah. Because I had have a lot of friends over in the States as well, so I kind of wanted to visit them in amongst the whole thing. But yeah, so the USMs was kind of right at the start, and then had a couple of weeks in between that till the World AMs, and then a week after that till I went home. So yeah, had a real good time in between to get around and play heaps of courses.
How many did you play in total?
Good question. I think it was about 27.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
you take.
I think there was one day I went over the Pacific Northwest and ended up playing 5 courses in one day.
Wow.
So just planning the whole day around playing disc golf, which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
awesome.
The USMs didn't really go as I had hoped. Might have just been just acclimatization or something.
It's a bit different playing away from home, isn't it? Especially in a competitive environment. It's you might not feel like you're sort of out of your comfort zone, but it is different. There is something different about it, isn't it?
For sure. Yeah. But also, Toboggan is a bomber course as well.
yeah.
Like it might not look it on the cameras or anything when the pros play it, but it would be nice to have it another 15, 20 meters.
Yeah, definitely helps. It's as you say, like what we see on TV, those guys make it look so freaking easy. But you step up to those holes and you think, I can throw this, and then you might be that 20 or 30 short of where you even think you could throw to, and you're just like, wow, this is insane, crazy courses.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
what an experience!
You were playing with lots of players who were of a similar PGA rating to you, right? So your PGA rating was sort of bang in the middle of all of the competitors. So you were very much in the right division, playing in the right kind of group of players for a competitive tournament. What do you think is the differences, sort of on average, between the way in which you've got your PDGA rating and the players that you were playing up against, largely Americans. Do you think it's a distance thing? Whereas you were better perhaps on the green and on the approach shots, whereas they were better off the tee. What do you think was the difference?
Yeah, I think that does play quite largely into it. Is like, I think I was quite often the least farthest throwing person on the card off the tee, but was normally in sort of maybe better positions than some of them, or yeah.
That's a pretty big part of your game, though, isn't it? Even back here at home, just like staying right up the middle and out of trouble. So I've definitely noticed that about your game over the years, man. Is just keeping super clean and not carding those bogeys. So not throwing that extra 20, but also not going OB.
For sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so when you ended up at the US AMs. I've just got the leaderboard here. You finished in tied 86th.
Yeah.
Which on plus 11, how did that kind of net out in terms of rating? 939, 968, 961. So perhaps slightly lower than what you're aiming for.
Definitely.
How did that then? Did that affect how you approached the second tournament that you were there?
Yeah, it did in a way. Mainly because, well, my putting at the USMs was totally off the ball. Like, I just couldn't seem to make anything go in. Like, my usual step putts that I could normally hit pretty nicely weren't even near going in. So that was definitely something I needed to work on, like, from there leading up to going to Worlds as well.
Did you put quite a bit of time into that when you were playing those other 333 courses between the two tournaments?
Yes, definitely. It was actually really good training leading into Worlds. Just playing lots of courses, like most of them quite wooded as well, and like what Northwood was going to be like at Worlds. So yeah, definitely paid off playing all of those courses.
Yeah, awesome.
Because it certainly helped, right? Because you came back and at the amateur Worlds, you come storming back. And when I say storming, you got better as the tournament went on. Which is one thing that's very difficult to do, right? As a start, but getting better as the tournament goes on, finishing the tournament with 1,000 rated. With 1,000 rated round in round 4 to finish in 17th, which is incredible. How did you feel then? How did you feel kind of stepping off the green of 18, and that was where you'd finished?
To be honest, I was a little frustrated because I bogeyed the last 2 holes.
Oh, really?
But no, I knew that I played pretty well before that, like on that last round. So no, I was pretty stoked to find out where I was, because I obviously don't like looking at scores when I'm going around. So
you're not a score tracker.
No, definitely not.
You will be next year if the PDGA have their way.
Or you can turn the scores off. So that's fine.
You can. You're absolutely.
I think he means when Matt gets his way, because if you missed the last chat about this, yes, he's all about it.
Yeah, I'll be texting everybody all the scores after every hole. So what when you finish that tournament, you've obviously had time since that tournament to reflect on how it went, and to play. Is it just the Confluence that you've played since you've been back?
Yeah. No, Tucker's
as well. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'm asking, we've seen a lot of the other players who played in that tournament or in the juniors turn pro pretty quick, i.e. the next tournament. Is that something that you intend to do? Well,
I already am. Brilliant. I took some cash at Tucker's. So
fantastic. Yep. I think that's great. And so what are your goals now? How do you go? What are your kind of longer term, kind of bigger goals now?
Well, longer term for me is winning another tournament on the tour, and also get slowly towards that 1,000 rated mark.
Nice. What are you sitting at now? Sorry, I don't have the stats right in front of me.
975.
975. But you've got South Island Champs and Waihetapu are the next events that you've got on the calendar.
Yeah.
So Twizel, have you played that one before?
Yep. That's really, really cool. 2 courses. The normal town belt one and then the river course.
River course.
Awesome.
Yeah. Excellent. So that's I think that's obviously South Island Champs. It's coming up in the middle of November, and you'll be in a packed field because it's a major, right? But I think you've got to consider yourself to be in the picture, haven't you?
Partly, yeah. But I've learned to after the Confluence to, well, since I didn't sort of play as well as I had hoped, maybe because I had a lot of expectation on myself to maybe take it out, that I probably need to take that into consideration going into that one, not to have too many expectations of myself to perform.
One hole at a time, right?
Exactly.
Take that from the 921 player telling you.
I think you're right. It's really tough to train, though, isn't it? It's really tough to. I mean, you can go and train and go and get and practice a particular element of the game, right? If you say it's my putting that's poor, you can spend all day in the garden putting. If you go my driving's poor, you can go to the field and you can just drive all day, right? And you hope that over the course of the day, or over the course of several days, over the course of several weeks, you've probably got better. At least you would hope, right? How do you train to get better mentally?
Well, you just have to keep putting yourself in that situation that you have
it's
to
experience.
deal with.
It's experience, isn't it? You, as you say, you've got to be in that situation repetitively, often, and just be there and get more comfortable with it.
Learn how to deal with it.
The tricky thing is you can't kind of replicate it like you can physically, right? So you can't like set up a basket or kind of say to your mates at the weekend, right, guys, this actually matters, right? This is the round that matters. So I need to get myself into the right headspace, because kind of secretly, it doesn't. It's a strange.
Do you think leagues can provide that sort of grounds for sort of keeping that on top of your mental warfare that's going on upstairs and always being in that competitive environment?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. Especially if you're going into it, maybe the favorite or whatever, and there is expectation that you will take it out, then definitely.
I feel like, because we've got our league starting next week, and there's a number of guys that can just absolutely smash the gardens. And although it's going to be a big social thing, we're trying to get a bunch of new players involved. There's going to be some of the top players. Well, the top players already signed up to play this. And I think it is going to be a huge battle for 8 weeks solid of just guys going at each other. It'll start off fun for a couple of holes, like I mentioned before, and then it's going to get nasty. It's going to get gritty. No smack talking though. Promise.
Will you get over the hill for a league night, Ryan? Do you think? Possibly not.
Yeah, bit of a drive for an hour and a half round. But we definitely welcome you with open arms, mate.
And let's talk about the Confluence, which was a couple of weeks ago now. You took out the MPO division, but finished third overall. The Confluence is a tricky track, though, isn't it?
It is, definitely. And when things aren't going your way,
absolutely,
things can get real ugly.
It's horrid. All you got to do is find yourself in a tough spot to putt in, and that.
Was the course altered?
Yes. Yeah. So two of the holes were a lot longer. So there was one of them that a hole 4 along the river that got extended to 115 meters, and then hole 8 was pretty tricky to begin with. The basket got extended into the woods a bit further, so it got made into a 125-meter par 4.
Yeah,
but there weren't
is
many.
Hole 4, sorry to jump in. Is hole 4 the one where you've done the long one and then that first one coming back? Is that right? And the river's on your left?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Extended to 115. So did the basket get pushed past that little cove down sort of past the tee pad of the next hole?
No, the tee pad got pushed back.
Tee pad pushed back. Oh, I see where you've gone. Yeah. Okay, interesting. That's a nice change. I like that.
Yeah.
That's definitely tricky because that's a pretty rough hole if you hit something and go, well, left or right off your throw. So, cool. Well, I can see that they definitely added some teeth to that and why some of the scores might not have been where some of us expected them to be.
Yeah.
But,
I think hole 8, I took a bogey on every round apart from one of them. And I'm sure it was like that for mostly everyone else as well.
Yeah.
So you're on Team Vortica.
Yep.
What discs have you been throwing? What have you been leaning on as your what does your bag look like at the moment?
Well, I'm also Team RPM now as well.
Oh, fantastic! Excellent.
Yeah.
So does that make up the majority of your bag?
Yeah, a large portion of it. Not all of it. There's still a couple of discs which I can't go past, but
yeah. So what do you lean on then? What's your favorite mold of theirs?
Tui, Glow Tui.
Glow Tui.
Yeah.
I heard they're a little bit more stable and a bit straighter than the regular ones. Is that fair?
Yeah, there is certain runs which are maybe a bit blippier and others which are definitely more stable. So it's nice to be able to crank on the Tui with a bit of hyzer and know that it will just flip up and won't turn over too much.
Yeah. Are you putting with Tuis as well?
Yeah, yep. Magma medium. Yep.
Me too.
So I think I've got like 5 Tuis in the bag at the moment.
Yep. That's a great disc.
Interesting that you putt with the same disc that's like your throwing putter. Morgan, do you do the same?
I have 2 putting Tuis in my bag and 2 throwing ones. All the same plastic, all Magma mediums, but my really old beaten one's like a roller disc that I'll sort of throw out to about 80, 90 meters on a nice field. And the other one is it's a utility disc.
Oh, yeah.
To get out of trouble.
Is it beat up? Is it?
And they're good for putting practice to have 4 of the same in the bag, but 2 of them are definitely for throwing and 2 only exclusively get putted.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So in terms of what you've got coming up, you've got I'm just looking now. You got Moonbase at the middle of November, and then Wahitapu at the end of November. Sorry, what do you think will be the your kind of New Year plans? So can you make it up to the North Island at all?
Yeah, I'm keen to go to Nationals. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, that's Auckland in February, eh? So
yeah. But other than that, since I took a whole lot of leave going to the States, I don't really have too much up my sleeve. So
it's real tough, eh?
Yeah. That kind of takes out some of the other 3-day tournaments which start on Fridays. So unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, you get that on the big jobs.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, look, last time you were with us, you did Desert Island Disc Golf, so we don't need to go over that again. But what I do want to know, actually, is that you're at 975 now. Your goal is 1,000. We've just seen Kristen Tatar play like absolutely brilliant golf and only get to like 999, which is only a little bump. In terms of ratings, what kind of mindset or what kind of opinion do you have, on what it's gonna take to get to 1,000 rated from where you are?
Just very consistently shoot 1,000 rated rounds or 1,000 rated plus rounds for sure.
Do you think that's quite that's difficult in New Zealand?
It kind of depends on the event, I suppose, and how many people are there. Because I feel like a lot of the round ratings at the Confluence, for example, weren't that high, even though they probably should have been. Like Ruben, who took it out, he was playing really awesome, like at least 1,000 rated rounds, but that wasn't really reflected in the.
Yeah, I mean the issue that you had at the Confluence was he's 906 rated, right? So if he was like 980 rated and he shot what he did, right?
Yeah.
Then everybody's average kind of gets bumped up. And that's what I mean, right? At the moment in New Zealand, I think there's 1,000 rated player. So to get to 1,000 rated, you need to beat players who are 1,000 rated by several strokes in order for that kind of thing to. And so, yeah, I think it's probably the majors that are going to be the easiest place for that to happen.
Possibly, yeah.
So performing on the big stage is going to be key.
Yeah.
It's going to be key. Excellent. Okay. Well, look, it's been a good chat having you on. Thank you so much for coming on and talking us through your worlds. It was an absolutely incredible performance. We're all following it back here, back in New Zealand, going, what's going to happen? And to see you come 17th was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. As always. We've lost Morgan. Oh no, he's back. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and it's been an absolute pleasure whenever I've had the privilege of playing around with you. You're an absolutely cracking bloke. So if ever you get the chance to have a round with Ryan, then make sure you take him up on the offer. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank
Ryan, you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Catch you soon, right?
Well, look, best of luck for the rest of the season. We'll see you in Twizel. Very much looking forward to seeing how you can break into the podium and hopefully get another win under your belt on the tour.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cheers, bro.
See you soon.
See ya.
Cheers. There we go. Certainly a player to watch, Morgan, as we go into South Island Champs and we start the build up to South Island Champs, which is now just about 8 weeks away.
Yeah, it's not far, and 100%, man. Mr. Consistent, he's just out there, just as I said before, up the middle, clean, technical, precise on the green. He's got all the attributes to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of those players who's capable of pressing an advantage, right? Who can get to, and as you say, I think as courses develop and as the as disc golf in New Zealand gets even more mature, that kind of safe play that you can is a great place to build on to press an advantage. You know, being able to throw incredibly far, it's got a lot of risk to it. But being safe is very much a kind of play that I like, honestly, because I'm someone who doesn't throw far either, and so it's relying on that kind of consistency up the middle, keep it safe, and take the strokes when you can. Is very good. Obviously, Ryan's incredibly good at it. So yeah, right. We've got a tournament coming up this weekend, which is the Final Meltdown, which is the final in a yeah, it is, which is the final event in a series. Let's just see if I can grab. There it is.
Tee times are all up.
Tee times are all up. It's a shotgun start, so you're looking at what hole you're starting on, and here are the players who are playing in the MPO division. Levi and Ethan Stout will be leading the way. Francis Orange, Tom McKay, Caleb Duffy, Isaac Sassoon-Mahar, Quinn Latter, Andrew Fleming, Norman Tudor, Jack Maffey, and Isaac Latter. Quite a competitive field there. There's probably 3 or 4 players who fancy themselves.
I'm going to say that the hen house is going to be upset this weekend.
You reckon?
Yeah. Ethan Stout's going to come away with the win.
Hot take from Morgan there.
He's the first name written on the pizza box. for hot scores this week.
Well, let's just have a look at the odds for this weekend, because the odds suggest otherwise. So in MPO, Levi Stout's odds are 1.8 to take out the win, which is really very short in a field of what's that, 11. Francis is second favourite was at 6.3. Ethan Stout is at 8.3, and Tom McKay at 10s. Everyone else is 12 and bar. So I think if you're looking at Ethan Stout taking it out, there's a chance. There is a chance. It's smaller than Francis and Levi's.
Nah, let's go, Ethan. Backing you, brother.
Excellent. In the MA1 division,
who do the statisticians say is going to take this one out? I'm looking at Bray Marsden at the top of the table, ratings wise.
You reckon Bray Marsden? Well,
no, I'm just saying that's who's at the top of the table ratings wise. Is ratings 912, followed by Wayne Brown at 893.
So Craig Larkin is actually saying that 1.8 for Levi is really good. Yeah, it probably is. One thing to bear in mind with these odds that it looks at percentage chance of winning based on the dominance index of the power rankings, right? What that means is that in reality, let's say, for example, I was playing this weekend. In reality, I've got no chance, absolutely 0% chance of winning this, of winning the tournament, right? If I was entered, but I would be given at least a tiny fractional percent chance by the odds, and then that would all add up at the end to take away from the favourites' chance. But anyway, Bray Marsden is a favourite in MA1 going in at 8-1. Ewan Andrew, who I couldn't find a photo of, sorry, Jacob, I've put Ewan's name underneath your photo. My apologies. Jacob Colley's in third favourite to win at 10s. Connor Bishop, Sean Brown, then Wayne Brown, Nicholas McDermott after that. So yeah, MA1 is far more competitive division.
You got to watch out for those sneaky Jacob Collies of the world without a PDGA number and rating there, but sneaky good.
Absolutely, I would have thought so. But I think what it's worth saying is that wasn't there a who took out MA1 in the previous ones of these series?
Good question.
Find that. Wayne Brown played. Just trying to find the other results.
Was it the Midwinter Classic?
Yeah, so yeah, the Midwinter Classic was taken out by Ewan Andrew, who we've got in at second favourite. Connor Bishop, who's fourth favourite for this, and Jacob Colley, who's third favourite. And then the Icebreaker, which was the first event of the series, Nicholas McDermott took it out. Mark Tebbett came second, and Lance Eason came third. So all the names are there. And yeah, we've got Bray Marsden being the favourite in MA1. Over in FA1, it's going to be a battle between Nicola Stout and Megan Merrick to win it, it would seem. Megan beat Nicola last time out at the Midwinter Classic. And she beat Nicola by just one shot, and they were tied after the first round. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see the battle that happens there, and
to see if anyone else can sort of rise to the occasion and push them.
Well, that's right. Jessica Guy finished. What's this? 17 shots off second place at the Midwinter Classic. So her odds are pushed out. But I think it's going to be a great battle between those two. Right, let's have a look just quickly at some upcoming events. So Final Meltdown, which is this weekend in Dunedin, is sold out. And the Tauranga Extreme in up in McLaren's park in Tauranga is on the 30th of September. That's going to be interesting because that's normally a pretty packed field, and I'm looking at Joseph Berry for the win there. But we'll preview that probably next week or the week after next. The Tapohoi Breeze is in the middle of October, as is the Hanna Hot Rounds. Both registrations are now open. The Topor Thermal Throwdown, really looking forward to this event, is in the middle of October. I'm going to be playing this, Morgan. It's going to be the first event of a few, actually, for me at this time of year. Because the Rapper Rumble's coming up in the first weekend of November, which I'm also looking forward to. And we've still got to find a date for Faultline Fury, which should occur at the end of November / beginning of December. Still waiting.
Are you tracking your way down south for Moonbase?
I'm not.
Oh, I thought you said something before to Ryan, and I was like, "Oh, is he coming down south?"
No, I'm not able to make too many trips out or down south this year for reasons that obviously you know about. As if anybody didn't know, I'm expecting, or my wife and I are expecting our second child to arrive in early February. He, which we found out this week, is a boy.
Oh.
So is due on the weekend of Nationals. So obviously I won't be at Nationals, but hopefully I should be able to we'll still do the
What's the exact date they're guessing? What they're assuming?
3rd of February, I think, but then there's some discussion over it because initially we had a date of the 28th of Jan. So we're really kind of saying it's around sort of.
I don't want to get you excited. I don't want to get you excited, but I'm 2nd of February. So
well, there we are. So that's what we'll aim for.
Birthday twins.
That's what we'll aim for. So, so yeah, and then obviously after that, for a period of time, I won't be able to attend too many rounds. But yes, I think it'll be interesting. I will be registering him for the PDGA on the day he's born, so he gets the lowest number possible as a PDGA number, which is what I did for my daughter actually when she was born in 2020. And so she has the PDGA number. I forget it off the top of my head, which is very bad. But it starts
2020.
2020. She was born in March.
177.
No, 135527. 135527. If you've got a PDGA number lower than that, lower than my 3-year-old, then put it in the chat. What's also interesting is actually she's not the only Devon Drake who's a member of the PDGA. Somebody from Columbus, Indiana, is registered also, and yes, 839 rated 254707. Anyway, what's interesting, I think, is the number of people who have joined since. Right. So, do you know what we're up to in terms of?
We're closing in on 3.
Closing in on 3, really?
Closing in.
Okay.
It's an open statement.
Let's just get I'm on the PDGA site now, so just trying to get a latest. Actually, let's do this with you, so we can.
I say that because I feel like I've seen 270 already.
Okay, well, 268349 is the latest, is the highest number.
268. All right.
268. Let's just have a quick look what that is in New Zealand.
Country, New Zealand.
Nigel Barnwell with the lowest number there. Look, 1222. But if we flip it over the other way, Morgan, you've got to be on the front page of this, aren't you? You're pretty low.
Oh, not that low. 76379.
Oh, okay. Maybe page 2.
Still young, Matt.
Yeah. Andrew Faulkner, and that's not the Andrew Faulkner from Christchurch. That's the Andrew Faulkner from New Plymouth. 268317 is the latest member of the PDGA in New Zealand. What's interesting, I think, is that we're at the point 135 doubled is 270. We're nearly at the point where as many people have joined the PDGA since my daughter was born that have that had joined in the what is it, 40 years prior?
Yeah,
which is I think incredible to kind of go from
that is incredible.
that kind of switch. And actually, if you look at the New Zealand players, right, there's 1,084 here. If we go to the middle of this list, then and find player number 542, right? Look at this. Where are we? 542. It'll be on this page here. The middle point for New Zealand is like 190. So, you know, the number of people who have joined the PDGA in New Zealand since, I mean, Caitlin is a junior, plays in, she's been a member since 2021. So in those 3 years or 2 years, as many people have joined the PDGA in New Zealand as have joined in the previous however long. I think
I feel like it's less surprising when we talk about it in terms of New Zealand than it is worldwide. Like thinking about those worldwide stats is crazy, but when we sort of look at what's happened in our country alone across the last 2 to 3 years, it's not surprising. The growth has been incredible, and obviously that's just because we can see it happening firsthand, and we don't really get to grasp what's happening outside of our own country. But just it's scalable.
Mikey asked a good question, and actually maybe this is something we'll bring up on a future show. So actually we'll do this next week. What are your thoughts on the UDisc price jump to around 50 New Zealand dollars? Okay, let us know your thoughts in chat, because I think this is an interesting topic. We covered it in previous years when we saw the price increase. Because I think for the couple of years ago it used to be like $8 or something.
Yeah,
they went to about 20, and now it's jumped to 50. It'd be really interesting to know your thoughts on that. So we'll come to that.
50 NZ or 50 US?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, and I know we're going to discuss it next week, but I'm one of those people who will just pay it.
Yeah.
Just because.
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so we'll get into the reasons as to why we think it's a good deal, and why we'll just go ahead and pay it next week. And so, yeah, if you've got any thoughts on that, it's a fairly contentious thing, because I've spoken to a lot of people who actually are of the opposite and will go, no, I'm not paying for that. That's
I know a lot of people that are sort of, they play as much disc golf as me, and they definitely won't pay it.
Yeah,
they'll just get someone else to score.
Yeah,
or use one of the free apps that are out there.
But anyway, that's to come on next week's show. We'll be back next Thursday. So look, wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you next week.